Hooked up with a man who told me he was single. Just found out he's been married for 5 years. Long story short, I hooked up with my old HS teacher about a year ago. He told me he was single, so was I, at the time, so we meet up at his house and hooked up. After this I got a boyfriend and stopped all contact with him. Today, I out of curiosity looked him up online and found out he's actually been married for 5 years. I found his wife's Facebook and they're expecting their first baby. I have not talked to him ever since, but he has sent me messages asking to hook up again. I feel horrible and sick to my stomach about the whole situation and don't know what to do. I've thought about telling her, and I've also thought about just minding my own business and forget anything ever happened. Thoughts and opinions are truly appreciated and welcomed. For future reference, it doesn't matter how old you are. No high school teacher who is not a total creep will ever hook up with a former student. I'm not sure what you should do. I feel like the wife has a right to know, but I also have no idea when the best time to find this kind of thing out is. Right in the midst of having a baby, oof. Send the wife snapshots of the text messages from her husband. She deserves to know, and he might be cheating with more people and her health could be at risk. What if he gives her an STD that affects the baby? That would be horrible. Boy, if I were that wife, I would want to know. Please tell her and provide any evidence you may still have. What she chooses to do with that information is her choice. It's creepy as fuck for a teacher to date a former student to begin with. Who knows what else this loser is up to? The wife has a right to know. You should tell her and send her any evidence you have. It should be her decision whether or not she wants to stay with him, and it shouldn't be under false pretenses. You should tell her so she can get checked for STDs, HIV. Who knows who else he may have hooked up with? The fact that she's pregnant makes this really hard, but I think you have to tell her. Imagine if you were her. Would you want to know? Please don't let her get hurt in the future by him, by not telling her. He felt no remorse and even begged to hook up again. She needs to know. That's so nasty. What a creep. Tell on his ass. Also, what the fuck, girl, you should know better. Hooking up with your old HS student or teacher is pretty trashy. If it was a one-off I may leave it, but the fact he has continued to ask about hooking up. I'd present all the evidence to his wife, to be honest. If you do DM her, make sure your tone is sincere. No accusations, just the facts. What you are going to tell her might be new news or confirmation. I'd make sure to tell her, you had no idea he was dating. And to be honest, you were shocked when he heard he was married. Lastly, if you decide to say nothing, I'd put that moment behind you, and not revisit it. Although this situation doesn't have an expiration date. If you meditate on it, it will consume you. Good luck either way. All I can say is if I were the wife I would prefer to know, and whatever I decided was right to do from there is my responsibility. I understand and see that others are commenting not to tell because it's not your business, but I disagree. Ultimately, I think he made it your business by lying and saying he wasn't single, when clearly it was quite easy for you to look up on social media and find out that wasn't the truth. The only thing you can do is what in your heart of hearts you feel is right, and try to place yourself in the other person's shoes. If you were the wife, what would you want someone to do? Then do that. 2 hearts. Best of luck to you. You hooked up with an old HS teacher? WTF. I think that proves that the guy is a creep. But I guess it's fine if it was consensual, just a little odd. Anyway, if it was me I wouldn't say anything. You aren't the first and won't be the last. It wasn't your fault, of course, because he lied, and I'm sure the woman may have a inkling this guy isn't who he portrays himself to be. I just pray for everyone's sake you used protection and got tested. Can't be too safe out here these days. Send his wife copies of the texts and explain that he said he was single, then block both of them. That first sentence hit me square in the face. You need to tell her, since she is at risk of an STD, there is a chance that it could spread to the child via vaginal delivery but can be spared through C-section. If not for her, then do it for her child. She needs to be able to keep them safe and healthy as much as she can. I think you need to do whatever feels best to you. It would be nice of you to let the wife know, but it's not an obligation and there's a solid chance that it might end up creating drama for you. So it's okay if you'd rather not. Whatever choice you make is fine. He lied to you and made you an accomplice in his infidelities. I'd blow his life up. If I was his wife, I'd want to know I married a piece of shit before I sank more years into a sham of a marriage. I would tell his wife, he could be putting her and the baby at risk with his extracurricular activities. I think it's best to err on the side of not getting involved in other people's relationships. I don't think you are obligated to do anything here. He's obviously a scumbag. She is either fine with it or choosing to ignore it. Since people are mentioning STDs, most clinics test pregnant women for STDs. HIV at least. You should make sure to get tested though. If you do, tell her make sure to do it anonymously. If she is really dedicated to not seeing how awful he is, she will come after you. Do you really think you are the only one? Put yourself in her shoes. Would you want to know now or finding out 5 more years down the road with 2 more children and him into his 3rd or 4th affair? Him contacting you says it all. Yes, expose him. Humanity needs to protect each other. And #X200B. Tell her so that she doesn't waste more of her life with this man and thus may teach her child that this behavior is okay. And #X200B. The best time is debatable, but if it was you, when would you like a friend who knows to tell you? For me personally, it would be the sooner the better. And #X200B. She may decide to wait until after the baby to address it, and you can probably put that forward as well. Did he explicitly say he was single? I hesitate to assume that we know the nature of their relationship 1 year ago, or even now, just because he has a pregnant wife. Of course, if they were open, the information about your history shouldn't really bother either of them, so reach out if it would be some kind of relief to you. But also be sure to protect yourself in doing so, because you could alternatively perceived as a threat to their family. If you were in his wife's shoes, would you want to know? There's your answer. Tell her. Walk away. Do not involve yourself in other people's drama. You do not know the intimate details of their relationship. The obvious, and most likely, scenario is that he did something slimy. I won't dispute that in the slightest. But other possibilities exist. Maybe they were going through a rough patch and had gotten separated. Maybe they had an open relationship. Maybe he was revenge fucking you because he found out she had cheated on him. Maybe they've both been cheating on each other. The point is that you really don't know, and therefore don't know the implications of actively inserting yourself in the middle. Not your circus, not your monkeys. The wife should know, period. He probably still cheats on her. A cheater is likely to continue cheating. I don't care what anyone else says otherwise. Best let the wife know now so the child doesn't have to go through that kind of drama later on when she eventually finds out. You'll be doing the child a favor. Man shrugging, medium dark skin tone. If your plan is to just cut ties and never see him again, tell him you think he should tell his wife and then disappear from his life. As much as the wife deserves to know, it shouldn't come from you. If he continues to text you and stuff, then you make it clear you will tell her if you have to. The threat alone should, not a guarantee, make him give it up with you at least. Please let her know of his goings-on. Please do her a favor instead of living in a false world. Tell his wife. Tell her and provide proof. If he's cheating now, he has before and will again. She deserves better, and so do you. If I was that wife, I would like to know. Receiving that kind of news will suck no matter when you tell her, but it's better if you don't wait too long because she's wasting her time with a cheating pedo. Also, if it makes you feel safer, you could send her the SS of all the messages he sent you asking to hook up from a new email account. If you do, I would suggest blocking your teacher from everything just in case. I would personally end his entire career and everything he's built. He doesn't sound like a good man. Maybe I'm just ruthless like that. As someone who was groomed by a teacher, tell her. The wife needs to know if he is texting you, then you know he is texting other women. Sad, but honesty needs to come first. I would make contact with the wife. It's inevitable that one day she's going to find out anyway. But save hers years of living a lie, and send her screenshots, but if I were you I'd remain anonymous. Obviously you've done nothing wrong here, but I'm sure you know that. Personally, I think if he's lied to get you in bed, that should be illegal, but at the very least I think you should tell the wife. She'll find out eventually and she can make whatever decision she feels is right for her. Send his wife a letter noting the dates of his affair. TBH, if it were me, I'd just mind my own business and forget about it. You need to walk away. 1. It's been a year, move on with your life. 2. Block him. 3. Don't interfere with a pregnancy. The guy will get his karma, that's not your responsibility. The wife has a right to know, but it's not your responsibility to tell her. I'd gently blackmail him with threats that you will tell her if he doesn't. I feel like you should ask yourself, if you were his wife, would you want to know? Or rather not, cause there are some people who wouldn't. If you ask me, tell her, I wouldn't want to be with someone who cheated on me. IDK, that feeling sounds about right. Person shrugging, lol. Screenshot. Send them to his wife. There is nothing even remotely okay with this. He has no place teaching children. His wife deserves to know for her own personal safety and the child she's carrying. I think the wife has a right to know. My ex-husband cheated on me with a married woman, and I am so grateful her husband at the time reached out to me to let me know. It saved me a lot of heartache in the end because he would have just kept doing shady things behind my back, and knowing gave me a chance to get out. He's disgusting. I feel sorry for his wife and I'm sure he's done with more girls too. If I were you, I'd definitely tell her. The teacher is a super creep, but I think you should mind your own business here. The wife will obviously get to know sooner or later. It's not your place to fix the world. Forget anything happened. Send a threatening message saying you'll tell his wife, screenshots. Maybe even add his wife lol. Then just leave him alone. He already hates his life.